Welcome guys to another Python programming lecture series. In last lecture we dealt with conditional statements, how to use if, else if, elif statements. From this lecture onwards we are going to see about loops, how to use loops, when to use loops, what are loops, what are the different types of loops in Python, and why do we need loops. So I have created the Jupyter file. Let's click on that. You know how to open any Jupyter file. So this is loops part 1 lecture, and my task is I have a list of number and I have to print all those numbers. This is very easy program. Let's first see what should be the steps, what should be the algorithm. Okay, I have to check the number, if the number is present in the list or not. This will be my first task. If it is present, then I'll print that number. I'll check the next number and print it, and so on. If the number is not present in list, either I can write some message, print it, or simply ignore it. That's my choice. So I have got a list here, a equal to in square brackets 1 2 3 4. So in data types lecture you saw how to write a list. Anything within a square bracket can be considered as a list. So I have got this list here, and till now we have studied only if statements, else statements. So let me first write this program using if and see if statements can be used as loop or not. If 1 in A, so I am checking if number 1 is present in A. If it is present in A, then I will print this number 1 and shift enter. Okay, so 1 was present here and it has been displayed. That was my task, and similarly I have to print all those numbers present in the list. So I'll copy this and I'll paste this here, and I will paste again 4 times, and then I'll change the values. So 1 2 3 4, there are 4 numbers, and I will print this 2, I'll print this 3, and I will print this 4 as well. Okay, shift enter. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 have been present. So this was the easy task. Now consider if there were 100 numbers or 1000 numbers, or this list was very large. Will this approach be very fruitful or successful as a good coder? No, it needs memory, it needs speed, and it is very time consuming. In that case, in such situations, loops are used. So let's see what is a loop. A loop is a sequence of instruction that is continuously repeated until a certain condition is reached. It means that 1 2 3 4, this is a sequence. I have started with 1, and if I have used loop, then the loop will check for another value, it will check for another value, it will check for another value on itself. I don't need to write this if statement multiple times. So that is a loop. It checks for the next step automatically, and that is known as iteration. So a loop is something which iterates. It is a sequence of instruction that is continuously repeated, or we call it iteration. So in Python there are basically 2 loops, for loops and while loop, and within for and while there is for else loop and while else loop. So let's begin with for loop, and do remember this is a very conceptual lecture. This is very important. It will help you to grab the basics of for loop. For loop is very rich in Python, it is very powerful. And so let's start what is for loop. So for loop, when some sequence is present as input. Let's see for loop, how to use for loop when some sequence is present. Now we have seen in data types a sequence got collection of item. So a list is sequence, tuple is sequence, dictionary, sets, these are sequences. So when a sequence is present as input, like here a equal to a list is present, that is my input, then how to use the for loop. The syntax for loop will be for, which is a keyword, variable name, membership operator, sequence variable name, that is in this case a equal to some data. And see, variable name can be anything. It represents the current position in the sequence on each iteration. It means that here in this case 1 2 3 4, this is the variable name, this will be the variable name that I will assign, and that will be the position at any instant of time. For example, I am using I, then I will represent 1, I will represent 2, I will represent 3, I will represent 4 at a specific iteration or a specific instant of time. So that will be the variable name, and it is variable name, so you can use any name other than the keywords. Second thing is membership operator. Membership operator is in or not in. For example, I am using here if I in A, so this in is a membership operator. I can use not in if I want to check if it is present or absent in that list or that sequence. So that is another thing. And third thing is sequence variable name, that is we are using A here, so we have to write A. Let's see how this works. So I have got A equal to 1 2 3 4. Following the syntax for, let me take the variable name as I in A, and let me print this I, print I, and shift enter. See how it's working. Okay, so this I is 1, this I is 2, this I is 3, this I is 4, and let's see how this works. For first iteration, I is equal to 1 in A, so I will check its value from A for I in A. Okay, so I will get its value as 1. It will print 1, and then it will jump back to the for statement again, and the second iteration begins. Now I will jump to the next statement and it will become 2, next value 2 for I in 2. Okay, print 2 and jump back again to the for statement. Third iteration, for I equal to 3 in A, print 3 and jump back again to the for statement. 4 iteration, now I will become 4. Remember, what is I? I is the current position at any instant. So this is fourth iteration, I has jumped to the fourth value, and at that point I is equal to 4 in A, print 4 and jump back to for a statement again. Now I will become 5, it will check in 5, but there is no 5 in A. So the loop terminates and you will get the answer in this form 1 2 3 4. So what we are seeing here, for I equal to 1, for I equal to 2, it means that for loop is iterating, it is incrementing by itself. You don't need to write again and again like we are writing in if I equal to 1, if I equal to 2. That process is going on internally within the for statement. That's why if is called conditional statement. It is only giving one output depending on some condition, and for is also giving specific output, but it is iterating within itself. Moving on, for loop when some specific value is present. Now we saw earlier A was a list. What if A was some specific value, say 5, say 10, then there is some change in syntax. Let's see that. For is the keyword again, variable name is same, membership operator will be same, input variable name will be same. Here comes a keyword called range, and with range some syntax has been introduced now. A starting position, stopping position, and a step size. So let's see. Now variable name is same, membership operator as usual, input variable name is same as earlier. Range is the keyword and it gives the range within which the loop will iterate, and that syntax for range will be this. A starting position value is included. By default it's 0, so if you are not giving any starting position, then it will start from 0. We'll see soon. A stopping position value is not included. This is very important. stopping position value, whatever we write as, okay, this loop has to terminate at this point, so this stopping position value will not be included. One value before this value is included. And a step size can be incrementing or can be decrementing value, and by default it's 1. So if you are not mentioning any step size, then by default it will be 1. And let's see how to use this. Now here I have got a equal to 10. There is no sequence data type as input. There is a specific value 10. Let's follow the syntax. For I in range A, for I in range A, colon, print I. Let's see this. Okay, so what is going on now? Let's see this. For I in range A, by default this is a value. This means that it is starting from 0, because I am not mentioning from where to start. It is starting from 0. It's going up to A minus 1, because A position is not included. One position before this will be included, and then the step size will be 1. So see, it is starting from 0, incrementing 1 by 1 and going up to one position before this value of 10. But if you count this 0 to 9, it will give 10 values. So let me write it 0, comma A and comma 1, and this will give the same result. Starting from 0, going one position before the input variable and incrementing by 1. If you want to start from any other value, you have to mention it like this, and if you want to increment not by 1 but by 2 or by some other value, you can use like this also. So it will be starting from 1. It will not print 2 now because I want to increment by 2. So after 1 it will print 2, then a 3, then 5, then 7, then 9. If you want to change this value, if you want to increment 10 also, then you need to do this. So because I am incrementing from 2, I am getting 11. Okay, so this is the basic format of for loop when some sequence is present and when the step size is incrementing. If the step size is decrementing, let's see how to write this. This is very easy also again. Now for I in range, now I will write the last value first. I want to start from 10 because this is decrementing, and I want to include 0 also. So I will write minus 1 because one position before that will be included. So minus 1 will be not included. One position before that, that is 0. So 0 will be included, and I am decrementing it. So I will write minus 1 again. Minus 1 means decrementing by one value. Let me print this I. Let's see this. Okay. So this is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 till 0. Okay, minus 1 is not included. And if you want to include minus 1 also, then write this minus 2. Let's see. Now this minus 1 value has been included in the list. If you want to decrement it by 2, just make it minus 2. Okay, 10, then 2 position decrement, then 2 position decrement, then 2 position decrement, then 2 position decrement, and so on. So this is the basic concept of using for loop when decrementation is, you need decrementing steps. Now can if condition becomes if loop. Now this is really interesting thing. Can I use if condition as if loop? So let's see what I mean. Can I write if I in A. Now earlier I was writing if 1 in A, so it was checking. Now can I write if I in A? Can if iterate this I value over and over again, and let me print I. Okay, so anything happening? Nothing happening. Can I write like this, I plus equal to 1? It will increment the value of I. So nothing is happening here. So if cannot be used as loop, because there is one very important thing with if. If only works for Boolean conditions. If always check for Boolean conditions. If you are saying if A is greater than 0, okay, it is checking. If A is greater than 0, true, print this statement. If 1 in A, this is Boolean, again it is checking. If 1 in A, is it true? Okay, print this. If 1 not in A, it is checking. Okay, this is false, print this statement. So if always works for Boolean statement. No matter what you are writing there. If you are writing if I in A, this is the condition, but what's happening here? It is checking for Boolean condition. If I in A, is it true or false? If it is true, then go there and print this. If it is false, then go there and print that. So this can be used as loop if this becomes Boolean. So if I do something like this, if true, it means that okay, if true, this will work as a loop now. Let's see this. Okay, so it's working. If true means if everything is okay, go inside this loop and print this. Now this if is not doing iteration, this for loop is doing iteration, and this for loop is working as long as this if condition is true. And this if condition is true till 1, 2, 3, 4, and when it found 5, then if condition becomes false. It didn't get inside this for loop and didn't print anything. Okay, can we use this entire for statement as true condition for if? Let me copy this here, Control C, and let me paste this here, Control V. So can I use this entire thing as a condition? Can I use this entire for loop within condition of if? Let's see this. Let me do the indentation part as well. Okay, so invalid syntax. So you can't use entire for statement as a Boolean condition for if statement. So this is the basic of using for loop, using sequence as input, not using sequence as input, using incrementing a step, using decrementing a step, and I think it will be clear now why we need loops, when to use loops, when to not use loops. So this is all about for loop. I am not talking for else for the time being now. This is all about for loop, and in the next lecture we'll see for else, and then we'll do some practice problems for loop, and then we'll begin with while loop. For the time being, thank you. Keep practicing, keep commenting your thoughts, your opinions and your doubts, and we'll see you in next lecture. Thank you.